Hi, Leo. Thanks for your patience. I really appreciate it. So let's just get straight to your reading. We'll talk astrology and planets and stuff as we go along. You do have a full lunar eclipse in your sign during Aquarius season, January 20th. So it's literally at 0 degrees Leo. This will be the last eclipse in your sign for a while. Big sigh of relief, right? I feel like this eclipse is actually bringing in some really good things for you. There's also an eclipse at the beginning of January in Capricorn. There's a lot of stuff going on in Capricorn right now. For the full moon, though, there's going to be a fire trine. So we have Uranus and Mars in Aries. Lots of fire happening. And we have Jupiter in Sagittarius. So it really is like a perfect time to connect with people at the end of January and kind of come together. I feel like you guys, you're either dealing with a Libra or a Taurus or a Virgo, or with the Empress and the Hermit taking some time out. I feel like you guys are mastering yourselves right now. You guys are really going within and kind of reevaluating or evaluating what 2018 meant to you. It was a tough year with all the retrogrades, with all the eclipse seasons we had. It was not the easiest transitional time, but it was so needed to remove things from your life, to clean out your closets, maybe literally clean out your closets, to recognize what your path is going to be, right? And you could really be doing a lot of inside work with the Hermit. I always joke, especially with Virgos, I joke that the Hermit is not about binge watching Netflix and eating an entire pie. Yes, that always feels really good in the moment, but the next day you kind of feel terrible about yourself. So while you're being quiet right now, make sure that you're taking the time to listen. Don't just feel like you have to constantly be doing things, because all the planets are direct right now. And I feel like if you were to just kind of be centered within yourself, you're going to find that 10 of Cups, right? It's like, it's been this thing that you guys have had just on the horizon. Like it's like you can reach out and you can barely get it. You can barely see it. You can barely touch it. You can barely taste it. It's like right there. And I feel like January, especially at the end of January, it's going to be an amazing time for these connections, these celebrations, these being with family and love, right? Excuse me. 8 of Pentacles and the 9 of Swords. If you feel like you've been working really hard and not really going anywhere, or like going around in a circle over and over and over again, I feel like that's going to also kind of change for you. It's not a time to get so super stressed out that things aren't moving in the way that you want them to. And the reason why I'm saying that is the energy is working for you. So if you're stressing out right now, while the energy is trying to work for you, it's very possible that you can manifest more stress in your life, or more things not going right, or more things not going in your favor, because the way that the energy is building up, or the way that the energy is surrounding all of us, is it's great manifestation time. And I've been saying that for a couple of months, but with this forward movement, I mean, like every planet is direct. Uranus is moving back into Taurus. You know, it right now it's still transiting Aries. We have Mars in it. Like everything is direct. Mercury's in Capricorn. Saturn, Pluto in Capricorn. The moon will be in Capricorn. The sun's in Capricorn. And that energy can make you feel like you have to work constantly all the time, especially with everything in Capricorn. But I want you to get really honest with yourself And ask yourself if you're like hurting your cause more than helping the more you push, right? And then we have the moon. So you could also be dealing with a Pisces. Sorry, my nose is so stuffy today. I'm like really trying to get better, and it's just like this never-ending cycle, this circle that keeps on happening. Let's clarify these and see where we're going, because I feel like you're kind of almost missing the point in a way, and not throwing shade at you by any means at all. I just feel like if you're sitting there saying, well, things could be better, what about things being really like the way that they're supposed to be right now, and they are getting better, but you're not recognizing it because you're thinking that they need to look a different way. They need to look like the 10 of Cups is supposed to, like, it's like this feeling that the 10 of Cups is supposed to look completely different. You're going through a transformational time right now. So we have the Death card on the Empress. And I actually feel like the Empress is you. I feel like that's your energy. And I feel like, you know, the Death card represents the Phoenix rising from the ashes. That's what Scorpio is. And they have to go through that change all the time. And they are a fellow fixed sign, right? So when it gets to the point to where you're getting to the 9 of Swords, because you're like, but 2000, like, I was supposed to be somewhere different by now. People do that to themselves, you know, like we hit the new year and it's like, no, I was supposed to be in a new job, or I was supposed to be in a relationship by now, or I'm getting older every single day, and, you know, what does my life mean, and what does it all mean, and is it working for me? And I mean, letting yourself get into the constant chatter of the mind and lying to yourself that you're not doing well. I feel like this is so karmic for you that right now you have to recognize that Capricorn season is bringing a lot of karmic justice and balance into your life. And it could be a Virgo that's helping you with this, or it could be a Capricorn that's helping you with this, or a Libra that's helping you with this. But it's bringing recognition, and it's bringing confidence and rising above. I feel like there's, and I feel like a lot of you can see it too. That there's just so much more that you're meant for and that you want to do. And because it's not happening right here in this moment right now, you can get into a 9 of Swords because you think, oh my gosh, it has to happen yesterday. Otherwise, I'm not successful, or I'm a loser, or I failed. Those are lies that we tell ourselves. Because the 10 of Cups is actually here. May not look exactly the way you thought it would. If it's not quite here yet, it's coming. And I feel like you guys are going through a time where you have to understand that the karmic cycle has to be played out. Things have to see, and I knew that was going to happen. When I said the 10 of Cups are already here, I'm like, not for everyone. Because some of you you feel like you're lacking in this. The 5 of Pentacles on the 10 of Cups, some of you feel like you're really lacking in this. So instead of looking at all of the things that didn't go right, look at all the things that went right, that didn't go wrong. Failure is a perceived notion, right? Failure is about learning lessons. It's not that you actually failed in something. It just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't supposed to happen, whether it was a relationship or a job or moving or something, right? It doesn't mean that you're any less of a person because you aren't where you thought you were going to be at this time last year. So get quiet. Become the hermit. What is the hermit? The hermit's the wise teacher. The hermit takes the trip up to the top of the mountain to get information from source and brings it back down to the people and teaches them. And I feel like a lot of you are trying to balance out your life in a way where the outside material part of it if it doesn't look just so, then there's something wrong. And this isn't just you. There are other signs that are going through this as well. So it's not just how you guys are feeling. And I gotta say, it's the energy that's going on right now. And it's the time of year. You know, we all make those New Year's resolutions. I am not a New Year's resolutions person because I know my limits. And I always strive to be bigger and better every single day of the year, and not just start to be really good at the beginning of the year and then fall off a month or two later and then feel like I failed. So work hard. And I feel like you guys are working hard. And I want you to recognize that you're working hard. And whatever it is that you're working hard at, don't let society standards tell you it's not good enough. The Hierophant on the Eight of Pentacles, the harder you work, the more prosperous you're going to be. What is the Hierophant? The Hierophant's the institution, represents a government, represents marriage. It's Taurus, it's foundation. But it's also societal standards and where we tend to hold ourselves because society says that we have to look a certain way, be a certain way, or be in a particular job. Maybe the job that you're doing is not something that everybody is going to like or everybody's going to understand. But if it's your soul's growth and it's your soul's passion, then why not do it, right? But we tend to fear that, going against the norms, going against the status quo. That's what the Hierophant is. It's all about status quo. And I think that you guys are transitioning and recognizing that you don't have to be in the status quo anymore. And that you're actually going to do much better and thrive without being in the status quo. Hold on a second. So when you find yourselves in the Nine of Swords state, instead of beating yourself up, think of all the things you did right. Think of all the things that made you feel really good in 2018, how you grew. And that's how you shift the energy. I love it when the cards work with me. So the Wheel of Fortune on the Nine of Swords, that's how you shift the energy. That's how you come out of the Nine of Swords. Things are actually much better than they may feel or than what you think. And it's okay to get into a position where you're like, damn, guess I could have done better. Guess I could have done that differently. It's okay to get in that position, but don't sit there for too long. Because you want to really learn the lesson from why is that triggering you? Why is it making you feel anxious and in pain and beating yourself up? You got to find out what that trigger is inside of you on why you're doing that to yourself. And that's how you shift the energy. So the Moon. The Moon is about honesty, and I feel like your full moon, your lunar eclipse, is going to bring about a lot of honesty. I feel like the Tower here actually represents some really good things. And because there is an energetic shift that's happening, you know, everybody freaks out when we get the Tower. The Tower is evolution. The Tower represents Scorpio, Mars, Aries. The Tower is course correction. And the universe is trying to get you back into your soul power right now. So beating yourself up, and even if you're, even if you do feel like you're in your soul power, but you're still beating yourself up, again, don't sit there too long. Because the energy is perfect for you to manifest, and you don't want to manifest more anxiety. You don't want to manifest more hurt and pain. Let the universe put you back on course. Get quiet and find out what answers you need to get. Get really honest with yourself. Really, really honest with yourself. Okay, let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. And I feel like whatever this Tower moment is towards the end of January, it kind of gets you stuck. Could have to do with an air sign or an earth sign, or an earth sign with air in their chart, or an air sign with earth in their chart. But there's so much love around it. I feel like this Tower is making you look at things in a different way. There's so much love and so much opportunity and so much goodness. It's like you feel stuck even though you want to rush in, right? Knight of Swords, Six of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, Nine of Pentacles. There's the Earth sign again, Queen of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands. Yes, you're definitely coming to the end of a cycle. And I want to say that the worst is behind you. Let's look. So this earth sign, a lot of talking back and forth about earth sign, air sign, whoever. There's a lot of talking back and forth about feelings and opportunities and things coming up. And I feel like there's almost this like lift, this glow up. Because the earth sign's doing really well. And it's almost like they're glowing you up to get there too. Because they see you. They see what's happening here. And they see how you're putting yourself in a Five of Pentacles state, even though the Ten of Cups is just right around the corner. And they see how you're feeling really, really stuck. But actually you have a lot of opportunities coming in for you, right? That could be super fulfillment, like in a very soul level. Make sure that you're loving yourself and not getting love from the outside, first and foremost. I feel like you really need to love yourself first. There's so much communication happening. I feel like that's almost what's getting you stuck, because there's a lot of stuff that's coming in really, really fast. The Knight of Swords, the Page of Wands, so much messaging back and forth. And if this earth sign can be of any quality to you, teamwork, it's like you can actually leave behind all of the pain and all of the hard work and all of that struggle that you've been going through, you know? And if it's the struggle with the earth sign or the air sign, sun, moon, rising, whoever it is, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, all the earth signs are here, Libra. If it's been a struggle with that person, if it's been a really long haul with that person, you guys are so getting past that. The Nine of Cups, Three of Wands, Three of Swords. And I feel like you're moving away from the heartache of the situation, or just the heartache of your life in that situation. Nine of Cups, Three of Wands, Three of Swords, Six of Swords. And I think part of the heartbreak, or I think part of the reason why the Three of Swords is here is you don't want to go back to that. Like you're trying to move yourself away from the situation. Like the Three of Wands makes me feel like you actually want to travel, like physically get up and move away from situations that were really painful in the past, because swords are thoughts. So really, if you think about the Three of Swords, yes, it was super painful when it happened, but your heart heals before your mind does. And then those memories come back, and that's what actually brings the pain. And if you keep on going back to the old memories of the way something was with somebody else, and this is a new person, or it's a person that's coming back, if you keep on dredging up the old memories of it and not leaving that stuff in the past, sure, it's going to hurt again. But I feel like you're moving away from that. I feel like you're moving into bigger opportunities, bigger love. We have three of the 4 tens here. So there's definitely a completion that's happening. And the eclipse is really going to help you do that. And I think it's just this, like you're setting yourself up for the next 10 years of your life, really, with the decisions that you're making right now. I know that sounds kind of intimidating and really big, but all the decisions that you're making right now, because we're going to have Chiron moving back into Aries, and Uranus moving back into Taurus, and this whole new era moving in. So you're thinking long haul, right? That's what the 10 of Wands is. You're thinking, what's my long haul, right? And I don't want to get stuck in something, or I don't want to get something started that's not going to be a long haul type thing. And your fear, because also the 10 of Swords is a very real fear that it's just going to be so devastating, you go to the worst possible case scenario. And I think you kind of get yourself stuck in that, and maybe even a little bit guarded at some points. And if the energy with another person doesn't feel right, by all means, guard yourself. Healthy boundaries have never hurt anybody, but don't go to the 8 of Swords. Because the 8 of Swords is a self-imposed imprisonment of the mind. It's an illusion. You don't have to be there. If you think you have to guard yourself with the person, even though there's really no clues or anything about having to guard yourself with a person, but just because of past circumstances you feel like you have to, that's a lesson that you need to learn that's very, very karmic. And this stuff is coming up right now. All of the karmic lessons that you have to learn, the justice, the balancing out, the karmic justice, the retribution. It's time to get happy. I feel like towards the end of January, it's going to be a lot easier. Yeah. It's going to be a lot easier to feel really, really good. And feel good about the slow pace even. Look at that. The Chariot, Temperance, the Fool, and the Star. I mean, literally, this is like all about you traveling or going or just moving in a direction of your soul alignment and purpose. And I think that the eclipse is going to really, really illuminate this for you, and you'll just be like head first into February. I can't believe that we're already in 2019 and that the February readings will be next. Looks really good. And I think that towards the end of January also, you're going to feel better. If it's going really slowly, it's because there's a gift. There's a lot of traveling involved here. I feel like there's a gift coming to you from the universe in many different ways, whether it's material or in a physical way or an emotional way or an energetic way. But again, if it's with an earth sign, there's a lot of earth energy here. If it's with an earth sign, it's like stable. And I think that towards the end of January, because you're kind of going through this aha moment and no longer allowing yourself to sit in a state of anxiety and fear, and maybe somebody helps pull you out of that. I know for me, like all the time, I have to have people like drag me, not all the time, but there are times when I get into hermit mode and I've been there for way too long and people are like, listen, you've got to go out into the sunshine right now. Like you have to. Like, all right, fine, I guess if I have to. And I feel like you're coming out of that, right? You're coming out of a pretty tough year. Looks really, really good. I feel like these swords are you beating yourself up. It doesn't feel deceptive. I feel like you actually have a lot of people around you that are trying to support you in your everything that you're doing. So look at all the good stuff surrounding all of the 5 of Pentacles things, and have a really wonderful new year, right? Have a really wonderful January. It's much better than it seems right now. It's much better. There's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And then the middle of January, there will be a lot of pressure, but towards the end of January, after the eclipses happen, there's kind of like this relief and aha moment and movement forward, lots of movement forward. And I think you guys are ready for it. We talked about it a couple of months ago, how ready you were to just start moving forward and how you keep feeling like you just get stuck over and over and over again. And it's not necessarily everything that you're doing. You're just being prepared. You're being refined. You're going through this Scorpio moment, this death card moment where you're being refined. You're being transformed in a lot of ways. So Awesome reading. I love you guys. If you want a personal reading from me, website fearlessintuition.net. So many big things that are going to happen with the channel this year. I don't have it all organized right now, but soon there will be announcements going. I love you guys so much. I'll have the 2019 readings and the soulmate readings for January done before the end of January. Bye.